The first part of our Wednesday page again says to put a check mark by the correctly written sentences. I want to find sentences without mistakes. Sentence number 1 says, the children were cold because the snow was wet. The children were cold because the snow was wet. Should sentence number 1 get a check mark, or should sentence number 1 not get a check mark? What do you think, Kylie? Would you give it a check mark, or would you not give it a check mark?
Yes.
Yes, that it gets a check mark, or yes, it doesn't? Which one?
It does get a check mark.
Oh, it does get a check mark. This one actually should not get a check mark. There's one thing that they messed up on. They do have two complete sentences here. They have the children were cold. I believe that. The children were cold. They have the snow was wet. I believe that. The snow was wet. So they've got two complete sentences and they're trying to put them into one sentence. They put a comma, which is good, but after the comma, they put the word because. And if they want to combine two complete sentences, they need to use a fanboy word. Because is not one of our conjunctions, it's not one of our fanboy words. Really, if they had gotten rid of the comma, that would be okay. Or if they changed the word because to one of our fanboy words, that would be okay as well. So there's two ways they could have fixed it, but either way, they do have a mistake in there. So sentence number 1 actually does not get a check mark. So again, they could have either gotten rid of the comma, that would be okay, or if they change because to, let's say, for, that would be okay. Sentence 2, you will not get cold if you dress warmly. Should sentence 2 get a check mark, or should sentence 2 not get a check mark? Bella, what do you think? No, it should not. That sentence is actually okay. There's not a problem with the sentence here. So sentence 2 should actually get a check mark. There's nothing wrong with the way that they wrote the sentence there. Everything's all right. They're not trying to combine two sentences. It's all just one complete one complete sentence. They're telling you that so long as you're dressing warmly, so long as you're wearing maybe a jacket or some gloves or something like that, maybe a sweater, that you won't get cold. It was going to storm, so Mom bought extra milk. It was going to storm, so Mom bought extra milk. What about sentence 3? Sentence 3 get a check mark, or should sentence 3 not get a check mark? It was going to storm, so Mom bought extra milk. Christopher, what do you think? Sentence 3 should not get a check mark. You are right. It has two complete sentences. It was going to storm. I believe that. It was going to storm. And it has the sentence, Mom bought extra milk. I believe that. Mom bought extra milk. If it does have two complete sentences, it needs two things to be combined. A comma and a conjunction, one of our fanboy words. It has the conjunction, but they forgot the comma. So Sentence 3 does not get a check mark. And sentence 4. The blizzard stopped and the snow glistened. Sorry. The blizzard stopped and the snow glistened on the ground. What about sentence 4? Did sentence 4 get a check mark or not? The blizzard stopped and the snow glistened on the ground. A complete sentence or a correctly written sentence, or is there a mistake in there? What do you think, Chase? Sentence 4, should it get a check mark or not? Sentence number 4 is actually okay. It's got a very similar thing happening like it did in sentence 3. They do have 2 complete sentences. The blizzard stopped. I believe that the blizzard stopped. It has the snow glistened on the ground. I believe that the snow glistened on the ground. They have 2 complete sentences, and look what I find between them. I find a comma and conjunction, or fanboy word. They've got the 2 complete sentences. If they put the comma and the conjunction there, sentence 4 is okay. So sentence 1 and sentence 3 both had mistakes. Sentence 1 was missing our conjunction. Sentence 3 was missing our comma. Sentence 2 and sentence 4 are both okay. Okay. The next part is very, very similar to what we did for Monday and for Tuesday, but instead of looking for a prefix, now they are looking for a suffix. Let me line in a circle. So a prefix is a part of a word that always, always, always appears at the beginning of the word. But this one, the suffix kind of works like the opposite. Instead of appearing at the beginning of the word, the suffix appears at the end of the word. Always. Prefixes are at the beginning and suffixes are at the end. So in the word barber, our suffix is er. The root word would be barb. I'm going to shorten that. Here we go. Who can tell me what is a barber? Jadine, what's a barber?
Someone who cuts your hair.
Someone who cuts your hair. So the er suffix, we use that for when we're talking about jobs that people might have. Like we might say a baker has that er ending. We could say construction worker got that er ending. Teacher has the er ending. Police officer has the er ending. An er suffix is letting you know that it's someone whose job it is to do whatever comes before that. Like a baker is someone whose job it is to bake. Um, a teacher is someone whose job it is to teach. So a barber is someone who has to, or whose job it is to cut hair. Plausible is our next word. Grab another line. We have plausible, and our suffix is ible, ible. Who's ever heard that word before? Plausible. That one's kind of a more difficult word. But who's ever heard that word? Plausible. Okay? Who can give me a guess what it means? What do you think plausible? What do you think it means, Jake? What does plausible mean?
Maybe a problem?
Okay, maybe a problem. I like that you thought, well, it looks kind of similar to problem, right? Plausible is kind of like saying that something is believable or that it's possible. So if I don't know, let's say Jadine that mom told you that you need to wait till she gets home before you can um I don't know, eat the cookies. And she comes home and all the cookies are gone. And then she says, "Jadine, what happened to the cookies?" And you try telling her, "Well, mom, it's because I was here in the kitchen and I wasn't eating the cookies, but then I went to throw away a paper towel, and when I lifted up the top of the garbage can, then it hit the side of the plate of cookies and all the cookies fell into the garbage can, so I had to throw them all away." Plausible would be like if mom listened to your story and she said, "You know what? Yeah, I think that sounds like what happens. That sounds like something that might have happened." Or she goes, hmm, or maybe you ate the cookies and then that's why the plate is empty. So plausible just means that, again, you could kind of think of it like if you say that something is believable or that it's possible, that it could really have happened. That's what plausible means. Ible, ible, suffix, means that something is able to. So this would be like able to have happened. Again, it's believable, it makes sense, or something like that. So like if mom asked you where the cookies were and you said a unicorn broke into the house and the unicorn ate all the cookies, probably wouldn't believe that. But wouldn't be a very plausible. Okay, the next one, celebration. Grab another circle, line. Okay. Celebration. Our suffix is tion, and our root word would be celebrate.
Mr. Romero, I have to go for a little bit.
Okay, Christopher. Who can tell me what does celebration mean? Jada? What does celebration mean? Okay, that's a good way to describe it. Like when you celebrate something or you have fun, like on Christmas. So celebration is the act of celebrating, doing something to celebrate. So it could be, like you mentioned, Christmas. It could be something like opening presents, like at a birthday party too. You would open presents and stuff. So it could be like a whole party. Um, it could be something like having a fancy dinner, going somewhere fancy to eat. So celebration is just when you celebrate something. So celebration is when you celebrate. And there are a lot of different ways to have a celebration. Again, it could just be like you have a fancy dinner. It could just be that maybe you have like a cake and some ice cream, or maybe it's like you have a full party. So it just kind of depends. Circle and another line for our last one. And our last word, artist. Suffix is ist, and the root word is art. Who can tell me what is an artist? Jaylene, what's an artist?
Someone that who paints, makes something, or draws.
Okay, so I like the different examples you gave us. It's a really good answer. You talked about painting or making something or drawing. So an artist is someone who makes art, and it depends on what kind of art, right? Like you mentioned, some people paint, some people might make something like a sculpture, or some people might draw. There's a lot of different kinds of art. So an artist is just someone who makes art. So the ist ending is very similar to the er ending. The ist ending, the suffix, is telling us it's somebody who does this. So like a scientist is somebody who does science or who does science experiments. So an artist is somebody who makes art. Out a little bit. All right. We have our sentence for today. Let's see if we can find all the mistakes. My mom makes deliciouser hot chocolate than I do. My mom makes deliciouser hot chocolate than I do. What is one mistake that we can see in this sentence? Jadine?
Chocolate.
What?
Capitalize hot chocolate.
For hot chocolate, you actually don't have to capitalize that one. It's not being very specific because there are different kinds of hot chocolate, right? Like if you go to Albertsons or to Walmart or Target or whatever, any grocery store, you can usually find a couple of different like mixes and stuff like that for hot chocolate. So it doesn't tell us what kind of hot chocolate, like if it was Hershey's or if it was Nestle or if it was like Ibarra or Abuelita. It doesn't tell us what kind of hot chocolate, so it actually stays lowercase. Who can find a mistake? Something that we do need to fix. Jaylene, you see one?
Capitalize the I in between then and do.
Very good. I need to capitalize the I. Anytime I have the letter I and they're using it like a pronoun or like a word, it always needs to be capitalized. We capitalize the I. What else? Bailey?
You have to add a period at the end
Need a period
of
at the end of the
of
sentence.
right.
No one's asking anything.
So
They're not shouting,
so
so
could you mute myself me because it doesn't let me right now.
okay. So we capitalize the I, we put a period at the end. What else? Still a few mistakes in this sentence. Kylie?
Deliciouser should be delicious.
We do need to fix deliciouser, but it doesn't or it shouldn't change to delicious. If I try that, just listen to it. My mom makes delicious hot chocolate than I do. There is something wrong there, but I can't just change it to delicious. So there is a problem there. I want to make sure we pay attention to that, but we can't just change it to delicious because that doesn't fix the problem. Chase? What do you think, Chase? What's a mistake that they have here? It shouldn't just be delicious. It should be more delicious because they're comparing, it's comparative, the hot chocolate that the mom makes to the hot chocolate that this person makes. Okay, there's one more mistake. Jaylene?
Lowercase the M in mom.
The M in mom needs to be lowercase. Remember, there are certain times where you would capitalize words like grandma or grandpa or mom or dad, but when you put the word my in front of it, you're not going to capitalize it. Remember, if you want to check, you can replace the word mom or dad or grandma or grandpa with anyone's name. You could try your name and see if it would work. So if I said my Jaylene makes more delicious hot chocolate than I do, that sentence doesn't make sense. That means that mom is not her name there and it needs to be lowercase. We're going to go ahead and write our sentence correctly now. Capital, not all capital, but capital, my, lowercase, mom makes more delicious hot chocolate than capital I do, period. My mom makes more delicious hot chocolate. We're going to practice some more with our comparative and our superlative. So we have generous. Generous can be comparative, it can be superlative. Again, normally, to make something comparative, you would put an ER ending. To make something superlative, you would put an EST ending. But words like generous don't follow that rule. They have a different pattern. What should I write for generous if I'm going to be comparative? If I can't add the ER ending, what would I write? Bella? What would I write here, Bella? So not with the ER ending, but I would put more generous. Okay. So that's comparative. But what if I want it to be superlative? I would have generous, more generous, and then what? Bailey?
Most generous.
Most generous. Okay. What about important? Important is very similar to generous. It doesn't follow the normal rule of put an ER ending and then an EST ending. It has a different pattern for when it becomes comparative and then superlative. What do you think it would be if it was comparative? Jadine?
More important.
More important. And what if it was superlative? Important, have more important, and then Christopher, what would it be for superlative? Very good. Most important. Okay. Last part on our Wednesday page. They're giving us 2 sentences and they want us to combine them. Brody plays the guitar more in the winter. Nolan goes outside every chance he gets. Brody plays the guitar more in the winter. Nolan goes outside every chance he gets. We want to pick an answer choice that combines these 2 sentences correctly. We have A, Brody plays the guitar more in the winter, but Nolan goes outside every chance he gets. Or B, Brody plays the guitar more in the winter, Nolan goes outside every chance he gets. What answer choice is the one that combines these 2 sentences correctly? Noah? Answer choice A. That is absolutely correct. Answer choice A has a comma and the conjunction. Answer choice B is very close, but they just put a comma. They forgot their conjunction. My answer should be answer choice. Here are my answers for Wednesday. Go ahead and take the time now if there's any of them that you have to fix or change so that we can have all the correct answers for our Wednesday.